Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the 5 things that I don't exactly like about the all-new Lexus LX600. Before getting this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Now, number 1 is something that everyone talks about, and that's the grille. I don't need to spend too much time on this point, but Lexus's front-end styling works great with smaller sedans and SUVs. Like the NX is beautiful. The new RX, frankly, is also gorgeous. And then you look at like the IS, that's also a beautiful vehicle. But on something this large, it's too much. It doesn't really work. Number 2 is the screens. Now, Lexus and Toyota are known for reliability, durability, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, obviously they're trying to modernize their vehicles, which makes sense. But we've got a lot of screens here. We have this center screen. We also have this infotainment screen, and then we have this screen down below. Now, these two screens I actually don't mind whatsoever, like completely makes sense, and I'm fine with them. This screen, however, I think is pretty much pointless because we've got analog controls for the climate system down below here, and then you've got buttons for like the drive mode select and everything. So like a lot of the buttons that you can control via this screen, there's also analog buttons for it, and so again, it's kind of pointless. And so yeah, I think that they could have use this space a little bit better. Number 3 is the tire and wheel setup. Now, this is the F Sport package, which gives you quite a bit of cool off-roading technology. It has a Torsen limited slip differential in the rear. You have adjustable hydraulic suspension, and you know, it ultimately is a Land Cruiser with Lexus styling, and so like this is super capable off-road. I don't understand why they put 22s on it. Like, I understand this is the luxury SUV thing to do, but with this vehicle, I don't think it makes sense. I think they should just stick with 18-inch wheels, which you can fit with these brakes. You guys can see the brakes aren't very big. And then do, you know, you don't have to do all-terrain tires on this like what the 4Runner has, even though that would look really cool on this vehicle. But, you know, just tires with a little bit more sidewall, because these wheels and these tires are not very comfortable when it comes to the driving experience with this. You can tell that the suspension has been set up to basically have a tire and wheel set up with a little bit more sidewall and a little bit less wheel, because when you go over bumps and everything, this does not do well. Whereas the 4Runner, on the other hand, that we own, amazingly well. So yeah, they seriously need to stop doing, at least on this vehicle, like it's a Land Cruiser at the end of the day, right? So yeah, they need to just smaller wheels. Now, number 4 is the suspension. Now, as cool as I think the adjustable hydraulic suspension is, and I know that this has been a thing that's been in the LX and the Land Cruiser for quite some time, I think that they could get rid of it, because I happen to be the owner of a 4Runner TRD Pro that has, you know, a pretty similar setup to the Land Cruiser, right? It has a solid rear axle. It's a Toyota product. It's, you know, set for off-roading, but this has Fox shocks, and let me tell you, that rides so much better with the suspension setup it has, and it's a smaller vehicle. Like, this has a much longer wheelbase compared to the 4Runner, and somehow it rides worse. But again, part of that is the tire and wheel setup, but part of it's also the suspension. So I think that if Lexus and Toyota went towards more of like the sporty side of things with the vehicles, because again, they're already making this look sporty with the exterior styling, but you know, if they did that with the shocks and everything, so added Fox shocks and just basically, you know, had this a little bit higher up off the ground already, again, like the 4Runner, then I think it would not only sell better, because off-road enthusiasts would take this a lot more seriously than they do in today's world, but on top of that, it would make it so it would ride a lot better. So those that are buying this for the luxury experience would also appreciate it a lot more. Now, number 5 is the pricing and the fact that this is not a Land Cruiser. Let's start on the pricing side of things, and then we'll dive into the Land Cruiser side of things. So this sticker's for like $107,000, which is quite a bit of money, and this isn't even a fully loaded LX. The fully loaded LXs are now like over $130,000, and so it's not the, you know, value play that it used to be. It used to be like, you know, a quote-unquote budget G-Wagon or something like that, where, you know, it's still less expensive than a G-Wagon, because the base price of a G-Wagon is like $140,000. But it's a lot closer now, and so yeah, that value, it's not completely gone, but there's, you know, a smaller gap, right? Now, the other thing is the whole Land Cruiser situation. So we don't get Land Cruiser here in the US anymore, and a lot of people will say, well, it's because the Land Cruiser sold out for like 4 years in Japan, yada, yada, yada. Well, here's the deal. I have been filming car reviews for years now, and I've been filming Lexus and Toyota car reviews for years now, and before the pandemic, these things did not sell. Now, obviously, the LX600 wasn't out. It was the LX570, but they did not sell. If I went to the Lexus dealership on any given week, they would have like 5 to 10 of these sitting in the lot. Whereas the Toyota dealership could not get enough Land Cruisers because people kept buying them up like crazy. And so I don't understand why they get rid of the more desirable model here in the US. Everyone wants a Land Cruiser here, and I'm one of those people. I would own one of these if it had a Toyota badge and if it was $20,000 less, because that's what the Land Cruiser always was compared to the Lexus LX. The Lexus LX, right? It's the luxury one that you go for if you want a few more luxury features, whereas the Land Cruiser, you get it if you're a real, you know, Toyota enthusiast and off-road enthusiast as well. And so yeah, I'm a little bit bitter because like I really like, I wanted to stick with Toyota for the next vehicle that I buy for a lease, because if you guys don't know, this is her car that we have, and we're going to be trading this for another, you know, off-road type SUV. And yeah, it's not a Toyota product because, well, as cool as this thing is, it's not a Land Cruiser. That's going to sum things up with the 5 things that I don't exactly like about the new Lexus LX600. And with that being said, I'll see all of you in the next video.